My name is Mac Milan.
My name is Edgar Gunn Jr.
My name is Zavonna Cruz.
My name is Father Robert Gentile.
James Lawrence.
My name is Omar Sada.
Full name, Enrique Matthew Benningen.
My name is Romario Coffey.
I do not believe in the Christian God.
I don't have religion. I'm more agnostic, so I don't subscribe to any kind of faith whatsoever.
I was raised in a Christian home. I didn't like it. I didn't really care for it that much.
I believe there is something out there, but I can't really per se it's so.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you can only make you stranger.
Ultimately, I think that the truth is completely unknowable, but for me, I just don't see the existence of a God at this time.
I've been a pastor here since May 1st of 2006, so just over 9 years now.
I'm a volunteer chaplain at Hampshire County Jail and Corrections in Northampton, kind of just walking with them through life in the jail setting.
Life Church, we, when I say we, I'm talking about me and my wife. We started it in our home in 1990. Actually, for me, my journey has been since 22 and inviting Jesus into my heart. Some people say, well, you know, he's religious and I'm not. No, actually, everybody's religious because the core of religion is a set of beliefs. Everybody believes something, and I can prove it by their words, their actions. They put their time, talent, money, everything into what they believe.
I'm more inconclusive when it comes to believing in the Christian God or any God specifically, because by definition, faith means believing in something when there's not enough reason to believe in it. But I believe in science. Well, not believing science, but I trust science, so I don't have enough evidence to be conclusive.
People who believe in science, to the exclusion of belief in God, I feel like they're underinformed. I wouldn't say misinformed, because I don't reject all science. I think all accurate science is just man's understanding a little bit of how God has done what he's done.
You know what's interesting about science? God is the God of science. There's nothing about science that God didn't create. This whole world was created and science exists because of him. What is science? Science is understanding what God created and how it works, right? The difference is giving credit to where credit is due.
My stance on evolution is really what the church's stance is, and which is to say that, you know, there seems to be this notion that there's a conflict between evolution and creation, and that doesn't necessarily need to be there. Evolution just suggests that a big bang took place, and from that bang a series of events happened that created the world and all that we know in it.
My stance on evolution is that I just don't really believe in it, agree with it.
Evolution does not give me a lot of hope.
It doesn't answer a lot of difficult questions, metaphysical questions, but even also scientific questions.
As evolution means the Big Bang theory is correct, that it just happened, that we came from gorillas, that our ancestors are monkeys. That's just not exciting.
Many of the perspectives or positions that have been held by, historically, that have been held by much of science on evolution have actually been abandoned and even disproved by many within the scientific field itself, not even just from a religion, from the field of religion. And yet, many of these things are still taught and accepted as just commonly held truths.
What I believe is so much more motivating, inspiring to know that I have a past connected with the God of the universe that says in Jeremiah 29:11 that I knew you when you were in the womb of your mother. Before you were even born, God in heaven knew you, predestined you, and has a purpose for you. Man, that's good news. That's inspiring.
They believe in, like, if you don't follow these exact rules, you're not a child of God.
To say that to not follow specific rules makes you not a child of God is not a complete or even fully correct statement. Not according to true Christianity.
That's a religious spirit. Bottom line, it's what Jesus rebuked. It's a hard-line, mean-spirited, controlling, ungodly authority paradigm that's fear-based, that some leaders use to control people.
The standard of living and whether or not you meet it is not what brings you into being a child of God. It's a free gift of life and relationship that God offers to anybody who would simply put their trust in Him.
How I feel about female pastors is really more what the church feels about female pastors. At this point, Jesus, who was a revolutionary in his day, chose men to follow him and not women. And that's not to say that women are less than men. I think women have other roles in our lives, in our worlds. They can do things that men can't do. It doesn't make them better or worse.
Yeah, women are called to be in ministry. It's just there's certain roles in terms of authority and in terms of leading the church and things like that that I don't believe God has called women to. But there's also certain things that God has definitely not called men to.
Whether it's male or female, the real issue isn't gender. The issue is character. In the sanctuary, we love everybody. And my perspective of gay marriage is somebody was convinced that they were gay and they're not gay. And the reason I say that is because we were all created by God. And God, right in the beginning of Genesis, He says, go and multiply. Well, God could not have made anybody gay because you can't be gay and multiply.
And just taking the biblical text at face value, I can't accept it. Scripture is very clear that God has created humanity, particularly gender, for certain reasons.
The church believes that marriage is a sacred institution, and that institution has a basic purpose, which is to bring about the creation of children, to help individuals participate in God's creative plan and bring about offspring. And clearly, gay marriages can't do that.
I view gay marriage and homosexuality in general as usurping that natural order that God has instituted.
The problem with society now is they have accepted if you feel different, then you are gay. Just like, and nothing different than if someone has a hard time in school, all of a sudden you have attention deficit. There has been labels put on people many times, I believe, from a lack of knowledge, but my heart is filled with love no matter what a person has chosen as an identity or as a behavior.
That said, even though I'm opposed to it from a biblical perspective, and as a Christian, I don't think that that we should be involved in trying to impose those beliefs on people who don't hold to a Christian perspective. In other words, I don't expect non-Christians to live like Christians, and so I think people who don't believe are free to do what they want.
It's a very organized and very strict religion, and there's a lot of things that they have in place to structurally make it difficult for people to live.
Their God is either forgiving or vengeful, and there's no in-between with it. It's either or.
In the very basics of it, the 7 mortal sins are basically discouraging people from doing what's natural to them.
To say that that the structure of Christianity makes it difficult for people to live is it's partly true and it's partly false. People don't have to, if they don't believe, they don't have to live by Christianity structures. It's like, what are some of those sins? Greed, lust, envy, sloth or laziness, right? Most people, whether they're a believing, a theist, an atheist, an agnostic, or a believer of some other philosophy of religion, they would view those things as in a negative light, namely lust or murder or wrath or hate, envy, jealousy, all those things. If there's kind of this like broad consensus among humanity from wherever you're coming from that those things are negative, I don't know why that makes Christianity the bad guy.
God, he means what he says and says what he means, and he's very slow to anger. And if people go down a road that is like a cancer, like a tumor, that's going to end up destroying other people, he'll bring that to an end. But that's the same thing I would do as a father. If my child is going down a wrong road and I've shown him mercy and grace, I'm going to have to up the level of discipline to help correct the situation in a loving way. I've got to find a way to correct what's wrong. The bottom line is, God is forgiving.
What I don't like about Christianity is how its name has been tarnished by various sections.
And they kind of threaten, if you don't believe this, you go to hell.
The Westboro Baptist Church needs serious prayer. They are not acting like Jesus. They are not speaking truth in love. God's given us rules of engagement. When I say engagement, I'm talking about our mouth. We are not supposed to engage our mouth until it's connected to the heart of God. And the things that they're doing, the things they're saying, and the actions have a spirit without love, and they remind me, unfortunately, of the Pharisees and Sadducees that were corrected by Jesus himself.
And what was most shocking to me was seeing signs of, Christ, or God hates this group or God hates that group. That was disturbing to me, because hopefully my God doesn't hate. My God's a God of love. To have a God who can hate seems to be in direct conflict with a God of love.
God has called Christians to personally not enter into certain kinds of behavior and things like that, but he doesn't call us to demonize other people who do. Rather, he's called us to love them and hold out through our actions and also through our words the glory and the goodness and the love of Christ, to properly communicate that and make it known that is something that God is offering to them as well.
They're doing great damage in this culture. And someone says, well, what if you're wrong? Well, what if I'm right? I'm in a win-win position putting my faith in Jesus.
How can I be so intellectually lazy and closed-minded to reject something that I'm not even willing to look into and poke around, investigate it on my own?
It's nice to believe in something. It gives you great hope and faith to believing that someone's out there watching over you.
Right, is this right or is it wrong? And then there's a bunch of other religions that does the same exact thing. So I gotta think about what the best choice is. And that kind of means you have to be methodical with how you choose, so yeah.
I would encourage everybody to think for themselves and to arrive at their own belief system rather than take what's fed to them without thinking about it.
I would encourage people to wrestle with it and to not depend on somebody's just one single perception of Christianity or one single portrayal of Christianity, but rather to do their own homework and give it due diligence and really search, go to different churches, read the scriptures, pray, ask God to reveal himself if he's really there.
Do the research, take it serious. You have no idea how long you're alive on this earth. You don't know if you have 1 minute, 1 hour, 6 minutes, 6 hours, a day, a year, 60 years. You don't know that. This is serious stuff.
If there's a God at all, and if he is, who is he, what is he like, and what are the implications of that? Those are some of the biggest questions that somebody could ask.
People should be asking these questions more often.